like our pal, was it?
What?
Went real quick on the middle screen on CNN. Our pal Bill Donohue.
Yeah, what is Bill Donohue talking about?
I guarantee the Pope he's talking about.
The Pope.
Oh, really?
Who said that homosexuals are pedophiles?
Here's what
Did I say that?
The suggestion is that all of this was consensual because of the age of
He
the
always has a problem.
Consensual. When people get raped, it's not consensual. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the Catholic Church didn't handle this right. I would have put these guys in the slammer a long time ago. Instead, they just think they could reform them. They sent them off to the psychiatrist. That's plain stupidity. No,
there are very few who are going to disagree with that. I mean, the way the church handled the situation is a large part of the stain on the church right now. But it is the discussion of homosexuality and the blame of them as somehow predatory that is what your Pope is telling you not to say. It's not about what I think. This is what your Pope is telling you.
Most of the molesting priests were gay, and most gay priests are not molesters.
Good.
I think people
Stop there.
But that's all I've ever said.
No, but who says that the molesters were gay?
I'm telling you, if most
says the molesters were gay?
They weren't girls and they weren't
Who says the molesters were gay?
Well, if a man has sex with a man, what would you call that?
He could be a deviant pedophile and a sick person.
Not if the kid is 18, 17, 16 years of age. A rapist could be straight or gay, I'll give you that much. But you're running away.
Make you predatory.
Look, you're trying to say that anybody who points out the obvious, that the Catholic Church had a homosexual scandal, therefore you're anti-gay. This is absurd.
Mr. Donohue, we both know that what is obvious here is that the Pope is asking you not to focus on these things.
He didn't ask me to shut up about the truth.
You and the Catholic League, you're the same organization that went forward and said, when you're defending the Passion, I'm a Mel Gibson fan, you're defending the Passion, you say, hey, you know, those secular Jews in Hollywood, they don't like the Catholics, it's a fact. What?
Well, wait a minute.
This is the kind of thing that you shouldn't say anymore. Do you want to get into, is it the Vietnamese who are making movies in Hollywood? Is it the Puerto Ricans who own Hollywood? You understand how that sounds?
You know that the Jewish Forward in its editorial said the exact same thing that I did?
So what?
Are they anti-Semitic?
So what? Why would you say it? I'm saying, do you take the message of the
Because I was just insulted on some guy on MSNBC, and I just came right back to him.
Listen, am I insulting you?
No.
We're having a discussion.
No,
right?
this is fun.
What I'm saying, it's not fun for me, and here's why. The Pope's giving you a different message. He's saying, don't make these statements about the homosexuals. Don't make these statements about the Jews. Get back to what your church is about. Jesus wasn't about what you're doing right now. Are you going to hear that message or no? Because it doesn't sound like it.
I've heard the message, but it's not the one that you will interpret for me.
So you think that the Pope wants you to say Jews don't like Catholics,
no, and
that homosexuals, when they have sex with people of a certain age, must be predatory?
When did I say that Jews don't like Catholics?
You were quoted.
No, I'm talking about secular Jews who
make
run the Hollywood studios who make anti-Catholic movies. What is so absurd about that?
The absurdity is that you are blaming it on a faith and a culture when it is a subjective judgment about a movie.
Right.
So you're blaming these people, and he's telling you not to do it.
So if I mention that the Chinese live in Chinatown, am I considered now a bigot to point out the obvious?
No, but if a Chinese person makes something you don't like and you then decide to blame them because they're Chinese as opposed to what's made,
the Catholics seem to get blamed for every time we complain about a movie.
We're blamed for this.
Censorial
I get blamed for this.
You get
One
blamed
of the things
for what
I get blamed for. Of course. You're a huge organization. The Catholic League matters. The Catholic League is relevant. Right or wrong, it is.
Maybe I get blamed for what Andrew Cuomo does because he's Catholic.
That would be a good switch for you, let me tell you.
I think I'd be going south.
Listen, the point is, what are you going to do with this message from the Pope?
Listen, I happen to agree. We have different interpretations, obviously. I love the Pope. And I do think that there are single-issue Catholics on the left and the right who need to get out of their little micro-turf battles and look at the macro issue. It should be about salvation. I will grant you that, and I am so happy that he has said it. He's also said that he has a problem with the rigorous priest, you know, the right-wing authoritarians. He also said, if people actually read what he said in his interview, he's against those priests who are too lax. He said, and by that he meant those who deny the existence of sin. Yeah, there's a problem on the left with that, just as there's a problem on the right.
He identifies himself as a sinner first when they ask him about the man, Bergoglio.
I know, and everybody thinks this is breaking news. Every single pope throughout all of history went to confession. Why did he go to confession? Because he's a sinner. There's no breaking news there.
I think that his hope is that the people who call themselves devout Catholics get back to the main mission of the church, which is not division, it is love. and his understanding that there's good in all.
So you think the nuns on the bus then are bringing everybody together by going out there in favor of Obamacare against what the bishops wants? They're the ones who are divisive. The dissident ones typically are on the left, but not exclusively.
I'm thinking what he wants is for you to spend less time bashing nuns and more time bringing people together.
I don't bash nuns. I'm just simply pointing out that some of the sister polyesters have lost their mission. They should not be They should not be social workers. They should be nuns tending to the poor.
I think the one thing we'll agree on for sure is that we hope that the Pope's message is understood.
Yes, I do.
Mr. Donohue, thank you for taking the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Kate, over to you.
Wow.
Thanks so much, Chris. Coming up next on New Day,
You know what the
texting
Pope
and
said?
Huh?
It was he said shockwaves.
Pope said cunt.
No.
The Pope said cunt. He was sitting next to Otto Peterson on a plane.
He said gay. He was the first pope to say gay.
He said he's tired. He's like the people. He said the church has become obsessed.
Yes, obsessed
with homosexuality and abortion, and he said we put dogma above caring for people and above caring for the poor and the what was the other word he used? The marginalized. What he said, I read that on the way in. I fucking couldn't. I'm like, I love this Pope.
He's amazing.
The last guy was a cunt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Last guy was a fucking doctrine-obsessed twat who wanted a smaller, purer church. This Pope wants a larger, more inclusive church.
Right.
What Donohue's saying, though, is I can see what he's saying, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to obsess on those issues, but it doesn't mean that there's this new openness in church that is accepting homosexuals and abortion.
But abortion, I agree with you on. Like, I think that's a rough one to get the church to upset. Although the stem cells, they should shut the fuck up about. But with the homosexuality, this Pope is not like he doesn't want to live where the last one lived. He has to be close to the people. I don't think he gives a shit about homosexuality. I really don't. Because he said something about who am I to judge?
Yeah, it's in
about
the
gay
paper today.
priests. So that was a big fucking thing for a Pope to say.
Yeah.
First time first time a pope just said the word gay.
Oh, really?
That's what it said in the paper
wow.
today. No pope would even say the word.
What about the old days when it meant happy?
Oh, that's a
We're
good
going to have a
point.
very gay
That's a
time
very good
at the
point.
Vatican tonight.
Very good point.
Very gay time at...
Getting blunt, Pope Francis says don't be small. Yeah, he wants his fellow priests and shit to get out there among the people.
It was really earth-shattering what he said.
And where
compared
is
to
he
the last
living?
guys. I forget
Is he
where.
in the Vatican, but in a smaller
I
part
think
of it or
so.
something?
Yeah, he's closer. They said it in the article I read where he lived. It was he wants to be. He carries his own luggage. He's really fucking. He's the real deal. This guy. He's not some pious jizzbag. That fucking last one was. They got him out. He was losing members fucking fast.
You think he was pushed out?
Either he had Parkinson's or he had not Parkinson's. I'm sorry, Alzheimer's. It was one of those things.
No, they pushed him out because you're supposed to die in the position.
How bad of a pope do you have to be that they push you the
The
fuck out?
they
pedophilia
pushed him
scandal was
out.
tied to him.
Yeah,
it was tied to him. He was a Nazi-looking twat that I fucking hated that fucking guy. And John
no one
Paul,
really
fuck
liked
him
him.
too.
The exact quote from the Pope, if someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge?
Well, if he searches for the Lord, he still doesn't like. He'll judge a gay guy that isn't searching for the Lord, that's searching for some ass. Then he'll fucking get on that shit. I don't know. I just don't see the Catholic Church as being very accepting toward gays.
This Pope is, I'm telling you, is really fucking...
Think he might be able to wheel a fucking little gayness in there?
No, but what did he say? He said he sent shockwaves through the Roman Catholic Church on Thursday. That he said the church had grown obsessed with abortion, gay marriage, and contraception, and he had chosen not to talk about these issues despite recriminations from his critics. It was surprising. He said that he criticized the church for putting dogma before love and for prioritizing moral doctrines over serving the poor and marginalized. He articulated his vision of an inclusive church, a home for all, which is a striking a striking contrast with Pope Benedict, the doctrinal defender, who took me a second. The doctrinal defender who envisioned a smaller, purer church. So this guy said Pope Francis said it's not necessary to talk about these issues all the time. The dogmatic and moral teachings of the church are not all equivalent. The church's pastoral ministry cannot be obsessed with the transmission of a disjointed multitude of doctrines to be imposed insistently. Wow.
It's such a weird
massive
position the church has with the changing times and with modern society. Like years ago, obviously, people had to adhere to every little rule. There was, the old Inquisition. But in this day and age of inclusion and tolerance and everything, it's so hard to steadfastly stick to these issues of years ago and still have a large amount of members. And that's what you need. You need a lot of fucking people. And you're alienating some by, going against the gay.
He said this lastly, we have to find a new balance. Otherwise, even the moral edifice of the church is likely to fall like a house of cards, losing the freshness and fragrance of the gospel. And they said his interview did not change doctrine, but it instantly changed the church's tone.
Wow,
Instantly.
yeah.
So that's the very powerful thing he said.
Yeah.
And the real conservative Catholics will hate it.
Oh, sure.
Like Donohue probably doesn't like it, but
that's what he's saying. He was on there saying, like, look, I heard what he said, but I'm interpreting it as
he knows what he said.
Blah blah blah. Yeah. He knows what he said.
Bill, of course he does. Bill's he's a very smart guy, and he's a deceptively bright debater. Because
he's a very good debater.
He's a regular guy, and you can get him on a point, and he's okay with it.
Yeah, he'll laugh it off okay, but what? And then he'll something else.
And he also makes some fucking valid kind of blunt points that aren't overly polite or
Yeah.
He's smart.
It's hard when you're arguing with somebody that doesn't feel like they're walking on eggshells when you're talking, because they always try to back up guys. And this guy was doing it too. That was interviewing Donohue. You try to back a guy into a corner with sounding like a homophobe or racist or something, and you back him in. And the second you do that, and the person starts going, it puts him on the defensive. If you just turn around and say like, hey, if I say Chinese people live in Chinatown, like that takes such a huge piece of their ammunition away.
Yeah.
I love, and that's why I love being able to talk openly on this show, especially about things like race and sexuality and stuff, because it takes away any ammunition someone has to try to pigeonhole you and call you a racist. Fine, I've been called that for years. Who gives a shit at this point?
Sometimes I think we're really lucky. Even though there's irritations here, but we can just sit and just fucking almost say whatever the fuck we want.
Discuss things, not inciting, not hate speech or anything, but literally have an open discussion with real language that real people use and not be persecuted for it. It's a miracle that this fucking exists.
And a lot of the irritations are now gone. So
exactly. I hear what you're saying right there.
Which segs into a fine song.
Oh, what? God.
What?
Who made this?
One last jab.
One last poke, huh?
Who made this?
Jefferson K. That's the same person. We played one of his songs the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Who's he on Twitter?
Of course.
I don't know.
These guys need their Twitter plugs.
Jefferson Knight on Twitter.
Jefferson Knight on Twitter. Came up with a goodbye song for the Radio Wizard.
Oh.
Who I would bet officially doesn't listen to us anymore.
Oh.
This is the artist who performed Fat Fuck and He Knows It that we played yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Fat Fuck and He Knows It.
Is that Jake? No. I thought it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
What are they doing on Fox?
Doing like this stupid obstacle course on Fox.
No.
What are they doing?
They're running through an obstacle course right downstairs on the sidewalk.
Right.
Why is the chick winning? Oh, well, she can't do the tire.
Yeah, she fell on a tire.
Get in front of it, don't wait behind
it. Fucking bitch.
Why does Fox feel they have to do these fucking stunts every morning?
They're a morning zoo now. This is morning zoo shit.
That's easy. I did that in the Marine Corps.
Oh, that rope went right up our cunt.
Kevin's trying to be way too polite. It's waiting behind.
Well,
they are muddy, they are wet, and they're about to get wetter. And we go to the bottom.
Oh, yeah, bottom.
When they slide down into water. What are they fucking children?
This was acid.
Hey, Kevin goes.
They didn't tell her. Now, what did that do?
There's 20 people out there.
I have mud in my teeth.
All right.
And here we go.
Here's mud in your teeth.
I threw my arm out. How was it, Kevin? I threw my arm out in the first. You got the doozy injury? I got the doozy injury. Oh, my God.
This is news. Hi. How you doing?
Wow,
How you doing?
having real conversations here, and they're getting wacky on Fox.
By the way, a dozen
Fox
people
and Friends
were shot in Chicago last night. just an aside. Just an aside. A dozen people were shot in Chicago last night. But
murder's down in Chicago this year, by the way.
It's still the murder capital
Over 300.
of the U.S.
What are they up to? 381, I think, for the year.
Yeah. Murder cap of the U.S.
Did you see the girl beat the boy, though, at a physical fitness challenge?
Yeah, I saw that. As long as you saw that. By the way, if it was, the lone white gunman thing and he was shooting people, it would be the lead story. They would put off the obstacle course and stuff. But because it's Chicago and it's just black people killing other black people, a 3-year-old, by the way, was shot last night also in critical condition. Why a 3-year-old was out at 10 p.m. at a basketball at a park basketball game is beyond me, but whatever.
Would you even go to a basketball court in Chicago?
No. No.
No,
thanks, Jimmy.
I love basketball. I was brought up with basketball. And even in New York City, I don't like walking by basketball courts.
You're always
just know.
Oh, yeah, some shit's gone down there.
You know some shit's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the shit is, but something's going on.
Something's going on.
A little bit.
I used to go with the comics a few years ago with Patrice and Keith and actually Kevin Hart and a couple other guys would go, and Sherrod, and they would play in these courts. And I remember one time we were there, I was dating a girl named Ruth at the time, a British girl. And this group of guys from it was like the projects where it came out. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a problem. But it wasn't. They just wound up playing, and it was okay.
Oh, you thought it was going to be a
little issue?
I
was just sitting there like with Ruth. Like we're like two white girlfriends of the players.
Oh God!
Just sitting there watching. And it was,
white girlfriend.
Did nothing.
Didn't get out there.
No.
12 shot last night.
Bob Kelly played too, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I figured.
What was he the? Oh my God.
Bob was slim then, and fucking Bobby.
In good shape?
Yeah.
Had that fucking little Hispanic look to him, right?
I didn't realize how awful Bob's old Egyptian hairdo was until I fucking see it now.
Egyptian.
I'm like, oh my God, he's like a fucking coin.
How's Bobby doing? Bobby good?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while,
It's been a while. We got to get him on the show.
Daddy Bobby. I see him in his Vine videos.
His kid's amazingly cute.
Yeah.
Amazingly cute.
In his Vine.
He's moving out to Westchester.
I hear.
Is he?
Fuck yes.
What's he doing there?
Well, you have a kid and then you move out of the city. That's what happens.
Get out of the apartment. Okay.
I
hear you.
What about me, though? They're not thinking of me.
I know.
Where am I supposed to go
Jimmy
on fucking
gonna do?
Thanksgiving? Where am I? My friends are leaving. Where am I going to go?
You got to take a little ride.
I don't want to take a ride. It's traffic.
You're the people that make
selfish
the traffic
Bob
up.
and his selfish wife not thinking of me and how I like to get up late and go see my friends.
Imagine being serious and being like, what about me? Ugh. Yee.
Yeah, I'm bummed that they're leaving, but I'm happy for them.
Someone videoed a bus driver texting while she's driving the bus. Oh, my God.
That bitch is in trouble.
So fired.
To point A to point B in a safe condition, that's not safe.
Whoa.
In a what condition?
And then if they, not only are they going to kill the driver, they're going to kill those children on that bus.
Currently, 41 states ban texting for all drivers, and only 3 states specifically ban school bus drivers from texting. Check out this video of another Florida bus driver texting on his cell.
Oh, my God.
Minutes later, he was involved in a fender bender. He was suspended without pay for weeks. And watch as this Florida driver fumbles with her phone using both hands, constantly glancing down at one time for nearly 10 seconds.
Oh,
she was
my
also
God.
suspended for 1 day.
Suspended for a day?
Suspended for 1 day. Issued this statement to CNN, saying in part, it is against school district policy for a bus driver to text while driving. From the video, it appears the driver is certainly looking at her cell phone.
Looking at the phone.
That's a dangerous distraction for any driver, but the potential danger is greater when you have a bus full of children.
If a bus driver is doing something that is against our policies, then we're gonna do something about that.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, 1 day.
Scary indeed. And as for the school bus driver in question, we should note she is not currently driving the bus. The district investigating determining what action to take.
The important thing there is, I wonder if the
Looks like they're going to interview a bus next. To get deeper into that. No?
Big woman.
Record this.
I thought they were going to interview the bus itself.
14-year-old is using their cell phone.
Boy.
on and was trying to capture that, and then look what she caught instead.
And so oftentimes it proves the point that our kids are paying attention and that they are listening to these messages about not doing it themselves, right? Especially these new drivers. But it's so interesting that the tables turn, and she pointed out to the adult that they were misbehaving.
Absolutely. I mean, it is, you know, we see, every time I see, I don't know about you guys, anytime I see someone texting on the road, I'm like that crazy lady. No!
I know!
But
and you're going to cause an accident doing that.
When you have the responsibility
I do it all the time when someone's weaving on the road, and they're always texting.
Police are dealing with and trying to get all of us to stop texting when we're driving. The school is dealing with. The school doesn't obviously want any bus driver to be texting, but what more can you do?
Yes, they're weaving.
Other than take away their phones while they're on the job.
I noticed you were weaving. And then there he is making a basket. It'd be a good little skit.
Cell phones. Obviously, that's the policy. Now they have to look and see what action to take here.
It gets a little tricky, right? Because sometimes, as the bus driver, you are allowed to use the cell phone, but the texting would be something different.
Obviously.
How is that tricky?
That is.
I think the big decider here is
This guy's an idiot.
I know that was a very
Cuomo's son.
As a
That's Cuomo's son.
Oh, God. The fucking lump of shit doesn't fall far from the
When that
asshole.
was pointed out to me with a certain intensity, I took the message.
Oh, his grandfather was the
Mario. Mario.
That's Mario's grandkid, yes.
Yeah.
Well, how did it go?
I forgot.
Something's watching.
Exactly.
Parents getting involved.
Are they still talking about texting?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes, they are. On New Day, a bizarre encounter between a priest and a photographer providing the bride and groom at their wedding with some very
They just play viral videos now, apparently.
And we just
play the news of them playing viral
watch.
videos. We watch. It really, the news has just turned into fucking YouTube. It's astounding.
Texting is fucking out of control, though, on the roads.
Yeah. You could see.
It is. I think you said it first on this show, and I absolutely agree with you. I'd rather see a drunk driver.
Yeah. Not hammered drunk driving down the wrong side.
No, but if you had to make a choice, I would rather be on the road with a drunk driver.
I'd rather...
That texting is out of control on the roads.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, too, now.
So obvious. It's broad daylight. You got somebody either going from 40 miles an hour to 60 in the left lane.
Right.
They can't keep their speed constant. They're fucking... You go to pass them, and they're drifting over into your lane, and then they cut back.
Well, they do that quick move back into their lane, because that's them looking back up from their phone.
And then you look over, and there they are. One hand fucking the phone. They're looking down. Pisses me off.
I was completely guilty when I had my BlackBerry because I could feel the keys. As soon as I got my Samsung Galaxy S3, soon to be S4, I stopped. Because I can't feel the buttons, obviously, anymore. So that was what made me stop. That's the only reason I stopped.
The voice helps a little bit, but you got to still read it.
Right.
But
it's just
Sam heard me one time. We were coming back, and I was talking dirty into my phone.
Yeah, he's
sexting with a girl.
He had to listen to you sexting?
Yeah.
And it was like, why do you have to do that now? You're driving.
Oh, well.
And what did he say? Do you remember?
It's my sex addiction.
I don't remember what he said. I remember us talking about how furious my mom would be if he got into an accident and killed me on our drive home because he was sexting.
He was sexting right in front of you?
Wouldn't be funny at all.
Oh, my
I'm going to
God.
suck on your clit. And I had to go back in reverse and take the P and put a T because the dumb fucking Siri doesn't know what a clit is.